You mentioned Alexander Isak there. We will touch on it because literally overnight, it feels like that potential deal has moved on apace. Like, it didn't really go away, and I think sort of no smoke without fire was sort of my general understanding of the Isak stuff. But I did wonder whether just going and signing Ekitike would put pay to any potential Isak deal, but it feels quite the opposite. It's, like I say, it's never really gone away. Last night it came out the Newcastle end that the minor thigh injury wasn't actually the reason that he didn't go on this tour. He has indeed seemingly asked Newcastle to sort of explore options. Yeah,
so it's one step away from an official transfer request, isn't it? It all started coming out yesterday, and we spoke, off camera, didn't we? Was it yesterday or have we been on this tour? It's felt as though Newcastle have been not necessarily driving this, of course, because they don't want to lose the best player, but Eddie Howe's comments were quite telling. He sent him home from Glasgow, didn't he? For that friendly defeat against Celtic, and said that he respects that the player's career is quite short, and then it was almost like, well, what is bubbling there underneath the surface? Because I was like you, I was thinking as soon as Liverpool moved for Ekitike, that might have meant the end of the Alexander Isak interest, having been told that he's not for sale. So it does seem as though that stance, while Newcastle would be reluctant to sell him, they're not going to get the wish. He is going to push for a move now, and I've been quite surprised actually by how much he seemingly agitated for it, because it didn't feel, obviously we don't know a lot about his character, but it didn't necessarily seem as though he'd be someone who would rock the boat, but he is trying to manoeuvre his way out of Newcastle, so let's see what happens. The options are quite few, I'd suggest, in terms of who's got the money to pay for him, and so Liverpool have already spent, sort of inclusive of Mamardashvili, what is it, 293 or 4 million. So they're going to go past the 400 million barriers. They're going to sign Isak, which is just unheard of.
No, it is, absolutely is. It does feel like you say, it is definitely gaining momentum and potential. You mentioned the options there. Obviously, the Saudi Arabia interest was muted for a little while, but short of that, I'm not sure there are many. It's not just the money side of it, but as wonderful a footballer as he is, who needs him? Who needs to go and sign number 9 right now? I'm not sure there are loads out there. United, I'm sure, would love to, but it's not likely to happen. They're not a very attractive proposition right now.
I think they've already briefed as well that they're not going to be in the market for him. I've seen a few reporters from the patch sort of suggesting it yesterday, and Chelsea probably, with all the sort of wildness that just circles around that club constantly with player recruitment, they might sort of fancy a little dabble. Arsenal signing Victor Gyökeres. There's not many clubs who are queuing up for a player who wants to leave.
And let's be honest, if Isak's head has been turned, for want of a better expression, it feels like it's Liverpool that have done the turning, because we've been the main agitators, if you like. We've been the ones sort of there just waiting. We made that obviously inquiry that became public a week or so ago. We've been just sat there waiting for Alexander Isak, seemingly. So if he suddenly has gone to Newcastle, like we imagine or sort of know that he has done now, and said, I actually want to leave, you can only assume therefore, and you can jump to the conclusion that it's Liverpool that have made this happen.
Yeah, that's a fair point, isn't it? Totally fair point, because like you say, it doesn't feel as though anyone else has been at the table, and we had the tweet, was it, from Fabrizio Romano a fortnight ago now, saying Liverpool have sort of made gentle contact with Newcastle. I think they were told not for sale and hands off, and then they moved on. But clearly the player is decided that, he wants pastures new. He can earn a lot more at a club like Liverpool. He can, fight for trophies a lot more at a club like Liverpool. So all of the boxes are being ticked from his end. Now the question is, undoubtedly Liverpool like him as a player. The question is, can they go and get it done? Because you've already spent the best part of 300 million, and that's already, it's a historic transfer window, and this would be another club record deal. So it's we're in uncharted territory, really.
Yeah, absolutely we are. Yeah, and the outlay is astronomical, as you mentioned already, and it is unprecedented. This is the summer we've all longed for, but this is like 5 summers rolled into one, more or less. God knows what next one will look like at this rate. But on that and the finances, all the talk from Dave Powell et al. Is that Liverpool PSR-wise, could make this happen, and it's doable, if you like. But just in terms of, again, they want to recoup some of the money that goes out, of course they do. Like FSG haven't completely lost their model overnight, you know what I mean? And I do wonder in terms of even like the squad and the front line, the attacking options, does the Isak deal still feel a little bit sort of Núñez and Diaz dependent? Chiesa to a lesser extent?
Possibly, yeah. We know Bayern Munich are interested in Luis Diaz. Liverpool almost braced for a second approach for him. Núñez looked like Napoli was front runners, didn't it? And it's gone a little bit quiet on that. Saudi Arabian interest still sort of hovers around in the background for that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think at least one of those two are going to have to leave if Liverpool are going to put together a deal for Alex Isak. I don't think it's necessarily a departure from the strategy. I think this is just the summer where they knew they have to sort of refresh and renew. You know, sort of 2018-esque, where, you know, they brought in Alisson, Fabinho, Shaqiri, Keita and Van Dijk at the beginning of the year. And then a lot of those players sort of held Liverpool in good stead for the coming years, didn't they? It feels like this is that summer where you won't need a left back now for 10 years really if Kirk is as good as what people hope. Ekitike's young, isn't he? And Florian Wirtz is only 22. Jeremy Frimpong 24, I think. So, you know, these players are going to be at Liverpool for the long haul. So theoretically, they're not going to need to be spending anywhere near as much as this in the coming years. So maybe that's how they're thinking about it. And I also don't think people at Liverpool would do anything to put them at risk of any sort of PSR breaches or anything like that. They're too risk averse, they're too conservative, they're too sensible, really. So I think if they feel they can put together a deal for Alex Isak, I don't think it's going to be done with any sort of apprehension of finances down the road.
That was a clip from Journo Insight. To check out the whole show, head to redmenplus.com or click the link in the description.